so we got to head over to Talgrub.
Talgrub.
Uh, Talgrub. All right, here we go. At some point here, I'm gonna have to go let my dog out. He's been in here with me all night. And
Oh.
he's pretty ready to not be in my office.
No weird, no transition.
So you should switch to your travel form.
Okay. Oh, do I turn into a seal?
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
You can turn into like a dolphin and a shark too. And then you turn into see, and now you're like this little speedy elk.
Cool.
Those are no longer rideable, guys.
Yeah.
I used to be able to ride you when you were like that, and then they removed that.
And Wrath and Bless, thanks so much for that follow.
Recent change.
And Kaz was 250 bits, dude. Thanks so much, man, for the cheer.
Yeah, they kind of pay homage to the Druid form quest. You do one in the Exile's Reach, and then that's it. They may still be there because you can do the original starting zone, so like it may still be protected, but they clearly are going to have you blow right by it. All right. And you also can't drown while you're in that sea form. You have the ability to breathe.
Nice.
In water, which is helpful.
Very.
Move faster. Breathe forever.
All right. Just kill everything, or like 8 ounces of soul. Hey, Trauma. Dude, it's great.
Right.
Works fantastic. Still, I mean, I think there's a few things that it would be good if it did, and so I guess we just.
I mean, they're working on bringing some skills back, so we're starting to see, like Paladin auras are back, Hunter's Mark is back. Like there's a lot that's coming back that should help the game feel hopefully a little more class identity. I think for a long time it's been the mantra of bring the player, not the class, and that sounds really good. It really does, because we all are like, well, if they got to pick anybody, they'd pick me. But what actually ends up happening is it ends up being, okay, then they bring the players they were going to bring, and now there's nothing unique about that class anymore. Now nothing matters, because you can just pick the class that puts up the highest numbers, because all the classes can do all the things instead of having unique utility. There was a time when you had to have druids because they could battle res, and you had to have a shaman because they could lust, and like all these things. And I don't know that we want to go all the way back to that time. But like at this point, it's basically warlocks can summon, and everybody else is everybody else. So it would be nice to see them go back to treating it a little more like every class is unique. Where when you're in a raid that, like, you know, there's not one strategy, it's like, oh, our raid doesn't have hunters, so we do it differently than you.
Thanks so much for that tier 1 sub, Wolfman. Welcome to the Texas Ninjas. For some reason, the avatar thing isn't working today, so next time you come and tune in, you should have, and I'll make sure I figure out what's going on with it, you should have a kind of your own little avatar and things like that. So really appreciate the support, man.
They want you to scroll out.
Scroll out? What does that mean?
Yeah, there's a streamer on Twitch here that actually has a bits thing that you can redeem where he has to play zoomed in. I didn't realize Brian was just playing zoomed in, period.
Wait, what?
Yeah, your character takes up like half your screen. Like,
I like that. I thought that's cool, right?
Okay.
Alright, I scroll out.
That's funny.
Fine,
I think you can. I think you can zoom in. You can zoom into first person if you want.
It's not letting me zoom out.
Nobody does. That's funny.
How do I zoom out?
I do it with my mouse wheel.
Apparently, I think I probably unbound that camera. Zoom out.
He found what he likes, and that's it.
Zoom in.
Zoom out is other trigger. So if you already swapped the other trigger.
Oh man, I can go far away. It feels so impersonal now.
Or go to first person.
It feels so impersonal now.
So the Beast Tribe making you feel like it's yours, like on one hand, that does sound cool, right? Like that I'm gonna be this Revendreth druid or whatever, and that's going to make me different than other druids, and it's going to give me this amazing identity. But the problem with it is that it's a borrowed power system. So even if they balanced all the covenants so that they were equally interesting and that raids were out there saying we need one of each hunter, like great, perfect, or like back in the day when you could have like two beast hunters and one marksman, awesome, that sounds really good. The problem with the borrowed power system is now you put all this class identity in the new system. It's kind of like it's actually the same issue I have with the Ishgardian Restoration, and what it does to crafters and gatherers. Chuck, you are killing me knocking my mic around. So what but what happens at the end? So you restructure it so that we have this massive identity, and then you just take that identity away. Like the Ishgardian Restoration, they totally changed the way crafting and gathering functions this expansion in 14, and like it doesn't feel bad. But that's because so much of its identity is tied to this restoration that when the restoration ends, are we not just a shell of our previous selves? And so that's my concern with a borrowed power system, is that it feels really good, right? Your car broke down, so I loaned you my Ferrari. Feels super good till I take my Ferrari back and nobody fixed your truck. And now you just have a broken truck.
She jumped into her little thing. I didn't expect that to happen. All right, let's see here. What was it? What was it with Lucron talking about? Like, just you're surrounded by death in WoW.
Yeah.
She just like jumped in. I think I still got to get a couple totems. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, honestly, like I think it's gonna. I'm really excited for what 14 does next, but at the same time, like they've kind of set a real high bar. So it's kind of like sometimes you find yourself victim of your own success.
Yes.
Because it's like, imagine like coming off of Shadowbringers and everybody's just like, oh man, the feels and wow, and then it's like they go and they're like, okay, well then like like Xenos has a problem as a villain. It's just like, all right, oh, you're evil for the sake of it, okay, like. It's harder for people to kind of like, because with itself, it's like the best villains are ones that like, whether you don't agree with their methods, but like all of a sudden there is a level of empathy that you can have for them because you're like, oh man, that sucks, it's like, oh yeah, oh there's a totem.
So the benefit of a borrowed power system is
what's a borrowed power system? You guys keep using that term.
So
I have no idea.
So a borrowed power system, for example. The closest thing in 14, honestly, is like your relic, right? So you spend all expansion investing in your relic, and you get relic gear, and you get a relic weapon, and you're just totally built out. And then you walk into the new expansion, and it's all for nothing. So if these covenant abilities truly build your identity, and then at the end of the expansion, we have to give them back, the benefit is that you have the ability to say, okay, 80% of a class is its core ability, that's its core flavor, and if you like that, you're going to love this. And then every expansion, so that you're not just playing the same class for 15 years, we're going to take that last 10 or 20% and we're going to twist it just a little bit, in a way that is familiar but different.
There's a star enemy up here, by the way.
Really good, right? And that's the benefit of a borrowed power system. The downside of a borrowed power system is that you have to pull the old system out, right? You have to return it before you can take out the next borrowed power system. So we have to go from having a relic that's all kitted out to having no relic, preparing to start a relic. And it's that gap that doesn't feel good. And we're in that gap right now in WoW. They just took away our system, and we don't start the new system till we move into the expansion.
Yeah.
And since the expansion is delayed, we are in this gap for what will likely be the longest ever that people have been in this gap. And we just came off of a borrowed power system. So anybody who feels like their class finally really felt good with corruptions and all the things that were going on in the gearing system, they just had to turn all that stuff off. And so now their gear is just gear. It doesn't do all this fancy stuff anymore. And it doesn't feel good.
Oh, is this going to be the guy who falls in as well? Like, I'm kind of expecting and anticipating that now. Ah! All right.
Improved concoctions.
That's right.
It needs a little. I mean, the quest needs a little body. Was the previous one needs a little soul?
Probably.
All right. So now we're. Oh, you're.
I don't know. I'm just kind of just like, oh, there's a guy. I'm going to go find him.
Okay. You should be headed back north.
Hey, welcome,
Doctor.
Kana. Thanks so much.
You can go do Witch Doctor Jangalar down here. There's a quest down here.
Oh yeah, let's go grab it.
I don't have like Azeroth autopilot or anything on that like tells you which quest to grab. We're just prancing our way across the zones.
Yeah, I'd rather do it that way, rather than like, oh, by the way, here's the most efficient. Now, if I'm sitting here like, all right, I've done this, I just want to level, and get it done. Like, I can see the value in that, but it's like,
sure,
no.
So, the beauty of this, the new leveling system is, say you decide to level again. Once you've completed this, if you decide to level another character with me, we don't go to BFA.
Right.
We go to a different expansion. And
right.
It's all been scaled.
Yeah, and that's actually something that's pretty, I think, smart with just the volume of content they've got. You're probably going to try WoW, Rob?
Used to connect the minds of endangered brute. All right.
We use the... Oh, yeah. Okay.
What could go wrong? That WoW was originally tons and tons of Bojans. So Legion was like, in my opinion, like the big borrowed power system. We literally got Legion legendaries that did like fancy things that modified your class. So like WoD was like the single largest amount of damage they'd ever done to their community in one go. And so to fix it, they said, to draw everybody back in, they said, don't worry guys, we're going to fix it. I've got these really fancy legendaries I'm going to give you. And so everybody came back and they felt super good, right? Everybody gets a Ferrari. It's amazing. But then at the end of the expansion, they go, well, to make room for the next Ferrari, I got to take this one. And people are like, wait, what?
Wait.
And so like, and it didn't feel good.
Come again?
So like, no. So I don't think every expansion was iteratively all as problematic as what they've moved into. And I know that they're aware of the problem of the downsides of a borrowed power system, because on this one, they're trying to fix it before they implement it. And like, that's a problem. If you're trying to fix like,
oh yeah, like, okay.
Hey Brian,
thanks,
I need to come over and clean your house. I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I'm gonna trash it when you go out of town next week.
Right, where do we go?
Like that's a problem. It's like, well, how about you just don't trash it?
Nah, can't do that, bro.
Yeah, no. I mean, the trashing, it's gonna be real good. So I'm just gonna
yeah. It's so worth it. You'll thank me later.
Now, the legendary drop system was something that, kind of like Eureka, they had an intention and then they didn't really get it fully fleshed out and fixed until it was so late in the expansion that there are a lot of people that were already bitter and beast out. So the Legion drop system, what they had was basically everything you did in the game had a chance to drop it, kind of like the current relic. And so like everything you did, like right now we're completing quests, got a chance to drop it. You want to go do some fates, got a chance to drop it. You want to do your daily leveling roulette, got a chance to drop it. Whatever you do, we're going to hook you up. And every time you don't win the roll to get a legendary, we're going to increase the odds that next time you get it. And so it's just slowly building towards a 100% drop rate. And it does that for the first 4 legendaries. And then that magical, wonderful loot system that rewards you for playing and makes you feel like, you know what, even if I'm the world's least lucky person, it'll eventually guaranteed come around, just shuts off. And that would be all well and good if all of the legendaries were equally good. But at an in-game rating level, there were legendaries that, like, if you didn't have them, you didn't get slotted. And so there were in-game professional WoW players who were not slotted in in-game raids because they just didn't get the legendaries. And so their answer was, well, I'll just play like 15 of the same class so that eventually I get my drop. And that's just such a terrible response to gameplay.
Wow.
So and they weren't real super open about that cap before, probably because they knew the community was gonna be like, yeah, why would you do that? Jesus.
I was like, what was
Scared
that?
him too. All right, buddy, you getting bored? All right, let's go let you outside. Let's go let you outside. I've been trying to tell you that for like 2 hours.
I want to go outside.
You break something for real.
All right, let's see here. One of the things I could say I really do appreciate is the fact that like the swimming in this game it's all connected, and I think the only reason why that's not the way in 14 is because it wasn't designed with enough time to do that. You know, because it's like, all right, the world definitely feels way more interconnected, which is great. So what else? They say it's a delicacy. Partially digested pods. Oh, we're on the U.S. But I think Chris was talking about as soon as like the world goes back to some form of normal that he wants to go and move to and play on EU.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to visit my sister who lives in the EU. And I'd like to, while I'm there, play on EU servers. So I'd like to spin up my character before I leave, because leveling I can do with crappy latency if I have to.
Oh, yeah. You can, wow. That's what I'm doing. Just like, here's me. Hands off the keyboard.
Yes, we did have... Well, we've had multiple water-based zones, but we had one that was... We had one that was 100% underwater. If you can just imagine the Ruby Sea not having land at all. And you're just swimming.
There is an add-on called Console Port, but I don't have it installed because that still requires like an additional piece of software.
The latency is fine.
So
usually.
So with that, my hope is that we can we can see like either I'll look at how to create an API for WoW because that's kind of what I do for work.
What drops these bile sacks?
These things, or the bile sacks are these. The only thing I can't do right now is just target like an interactive object, so I still have to click that. Yeah, I'll put up a guide on it today. Because this is actually more or less me just kind of I was testing it last night with Chris, and I was like, all right, let's try this, and I was like, the best test is actually playing with it for a long period of time and being like, does this annoy me? And this is super comfortable, man. It's super comfortable. Now, there's a few things that like I'm probably gonna put some feedback on the forums, provide you because there's a few things that if it did it, like I'd be in freaking like I'd be like. There should be no reason I need to do a 2-button press to do certain things, but I've got it set up because it's 2 buttons rather than just 1-button press. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm sure.
So,
I don't know
a
what
lot of things 14 has. It sounds like WoW was very lazy getting it together. As somebody who has actively been subscribed to both for the vast majority of the last...
Filthy says there's lots of documentation for the API. Sweet. Well, then I'm because the new controller stuff is a part of a new API, so I'm gonna have to that WoW has. So I'm gonna have to go and dive in and see what I can do. Make it.
I will tell you, going game to game, I am distinctly aware that both games feel like they're being lazy about things that the other game just seems to have solved.
Oh, God, I hate the word lazy. Like I hate the word lazy because it's like in development.
That was the word used.
Okay,
that was the word used. I was responding to Fish that said it seems like they've been lazy about, and it, what was the, so a lot of things 14 has sounds like WoW is very lazy about getting it together. So,
oh yeah,
they both have systems that feel underwhelming, and the other game handles it expertly.
Right, and what a lot of this comes down to.
Can you not take like a little bit of that essence and then put your own flavor on it and freaking fix it?
So what that's kind of ties into is called the kind of the framework that the core game is built upon. Like when you have those features at the core level of the design, it becomes easy. And so that's kind of where gamers get. And this is like, we could take this conversation even outside of gaming and just app dev. It's that sometimes things are easy, and it's like, oh man, that was awesome, they fixed that. Oh, that must mean that, these other things they're ignoring are they're just either ignoring them, or they're just being lazy. And it's like, no, actually, like, while it seems like that request is a quick and easy fix, it's like that's going to require 8 months of dev and work and pain, and and rework and things like that. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, so it's probably on a list somewhere. It's just from a priority perspective, it's like, okay, this is what we want to add. And so it's just the way development's a weird thing, because some things are just that easy to be like, cool, there you go. And then some things are like, well, we'd love to do that, but
I think that's so. Orca says that they wish the underwater content in 14 felt better.
Oh yeah, hands down.
And WoW, it's the same. I think that's why I wanted Blitzball, because we added swimming. We added this big, beautiful zone, and then you just like swim to the bottom and do things.
Oh, and there's nothing that's even dangerous about swimming. There's nothing dangerous. Those zones are so big and beautiful. That's why I think Eureka is by far better designed. Like the Eurekan zones are just so incredible. In fact, when we get Blue Mage, if Blue Mage can go into Eureka with 5-4, which I believe it will, I think that's when I'm going to go say, all right, Eureka, it's your time to shine, baby, Blue Mage.
I mean, I had to go AFK for a bit in Boja the other day, and like, if you're not in one of those camps, it's so densely packed, it's hard to like actually like find a place to just rest for a second.
Yeah.
That was what was in Zepla's impressions, was that she said that she had all these people showing up to see her do this content. She was so excited in the community, and she does giveaways when like her community crosses thresholds. And she's like, and I didn't know when to do the giveaway. Like there wasn't 30 seconds. Like she expected it to be like Eureka. She goes, this is going to be this amazing immersive experience. I'll sit back, I'll chat. We got like 20 minutes till anything eventful happens. Mm-hmm. It was not that. Like Boja is like, here's a loot box. Here's a loot cluster. Here's a skill tree. Here's now you're going into a fate. Now you're into a raid. Now you're into, and it's like,
dude,
what is happening?
And the whole system, the critical engagement system, is so genius. It's so good that I wish it was persistent through the rest of the game. And I hope that like 6.0 includes that just in the open world. Like when you talk about like you want to find a successful system, that is so cool. Imagine almost in a way a hunt rework where like by participating in these like different fates and skirmishes, there's a chance that a hunt is going to pop, and then that big old hunt can be designed around 48 players with mechanics, and it's like, oh yes, give it to me. Like that's what I want, man. That's what I want. Does jobs or classes have rotations in 14? I'm going to defer to Chris, because I literally pressed like 3 buttons.
Yes, you have rotations.
I suck right now.
Well, so they have put us on a 10 to 50 scale where we can actually like learn our class slowly. So at this point, Brian, I assume you're realizing that what you should be doing, are you doing this as balance, or are you doing this
I'm doing this as balance right now.
Okay. So I assume at this point you've noticed that you have Moonfire, which is your dot.
Why did I kill this guy?
Why did you do that?
Dude, what?
Why would you?
They're also endangered. What the F, man?
Why would you do that? It's sleeping.
I better
would
be.
You do that, Brian?
And it shrunk him too.
It's okay. It's okay. It just needed to take a nap, Brian.
Jeez. And as your winter, thanks so much for the follow.
So yes, there are rotations. Simply put. That's what WoW players say about 14. They come in and they play through like the first 40 levels, and they're like, what is this? The global cooldown is like an eternity long. There's no complexity to the rotation. I just stand here and I push these 3 buttons over and over, and like that's MMOs just feel like that. I think this feels way better than it used to. Oh god, he is angry.
Yeah, we just killed his like mate.
Oh no.
Whee!
That was a big kick. And then we landed in the same spot. What a kick.
And to turn in. Thank you. So convenient. So what'd you think? Sorry, he says LOL. I thought the same thing coming to 14.
Yeah. Except that this is only going to be like 10 hours long, not 400. The story of the 400 hours is wonderful. The gameplay, if you come from like being at the top of WoW or the top of Guild Wars is going to feel a little lacking because they're assuming that you know nothing about anything ever. And so they're like, we're going to give you one button to push. Yeah, can you? Yeah. Okay, I'm just talking to people.
I will let the Jaguar know. Speak to the Jagular.
Did you talk to both of them?
Oh, was I supposed to? Okay.
Yeah, Jangular's right here.
Oh, Jangular. I thought it was saying Jaguar. This is where when you find out like I'm not really good at reading.
Brian's off looking for a cat.
Where's this effing cat?
When does ARR end? Just know that they took 100 quests out of ARR earlier this year. You're welcome. They took 100 fetch quests. Pray return to the waking sands. Pray return. Made me hate Nymphelia.
Yeah,
because the thing is, you would get to the end of doing all these fetches for her, right? So, like, I've been told that I'm the warrior of light, that I am, like, child of the gods, that I have, like, special magic, Harry Potter abilities to, like, hear things and see ground effects, and I'm amazing. And she's like, very cool. So I was wondering if you could get me some muffins, and if you could tell Todd that I saw his daughter won her soccer game last week. Oh. Way to go. And then you get back, and she's like, oh, by the way, I had a cell phone that I just touched my ear the whole time. Why did I have to go all around the world when you had a phone?
Yeah. A little link shell phone call. Thank you very much.
All of ARR could have been solved with a phone call.
All right, cool. I guess that we didn't kill it, so it's alive. And
have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know how to say your name. It's all.
I read it as Flo.
All right.
All right, I guess we're going in.
Oh man, he's angry. He's gonna go in and take this Drake on. Let's do this. You got a little dragon, buddy. Yeah, he's the reason you got those shots. It wasn't us that sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't us. It wasn't us at all.
Yeah, what a jerk. What a jerk.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Says I'm losing threat.
I know there's like ethical misgivings about like electric collars on dogs. We don't have one for our dog, but the dog I grew up with had an electric collar, and he's a really big dog, and he could be aggressive sometimes. And if like he was being aggressive with us when we were real little, I mean, he was way bigger than us, and my dad like did the collar, like he didn't associate it with a person. He was like, I don't know, something just hit me. Like there was no resentment, no connection with what was causing it. Definitely not towards my dad, who had the button. Just a subtle zap, and he's like, "Whoa, okay."
I can mount. It's so weird where it's like you can mount here, can't mount here. Like
I'm not inside, man. They've gotten way looser.
But I'm also.
Used to be like
I was in a giant cave outdoors.
Nope, can't be done.
No caves.
Can't be done. That cave's indoors, man. That's the future. That's actually where Ishgardian housing is going to be. It's going to be in a cave outdoors in World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah. Owlboy Star Surgeon left and right.
Patch quests feel really good at the time. I don't know that they feel as good when you try to like if you skip a patch and you come back and do 2 back to back.
Yeah.
So I think people that have to like come into the game and they're like, I'm gonna play 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 back to back to back. It's not gonna have that pacing that it was introduced to the game with, where you're like enjoying the trial and you're getting like really into it and all that.
I enjoy a good love story. Let's go.
Did you just say WoW 14 crossover? Oh man, can you imagine how the community, the internet would explode? Yeah, because there would be a silent, I think a silent majority that's like, I'll hear you out, and then there would be a vocal minority that said, that's it, I'm unsubbing, I'm never playing this game again. I can't believe they would do this to me. because what people don't realize is, much like your favorite sports athletes on rival teams probably vacation with each other's families, even though you're punching each other in the face in a bar.
Oh, they're in love.
They, yeah, but we made one really small. Um, like the Yoshi P's team and the WoW Dev team are shockingly close for the fact that the communities throw so much shade at each other.
Wizard Sliv, thanks so much for that follow. Wolfman says, I wish WoW 14 had a collab event like Xeno shows up in Northrend just because he's the new Lynch King. No, it'd be so good. It would be. I would
make it like canon. Oh man.
I would. Oh, dude, that would be so funny. I would say that here's a question for chat. Here's a question for chat. The if that happened, well, dadgummit, I lost my train of thought. Like I was like,
Xenos is the Lich King.
Oh, would it be as equivalent if they announced Half-Life 3? Like, would that be on par, higher, same tier, or lower to a Half-Life 3 announcement? What do you guys think?
Way higher. Way higher. Xenos is the Lich King, way higher. And they'd reveal it in a trailer. You know it, because they're both good at trailers. You would just be there, and he would take off the helmet, and there would be a helmet under his helmet.
Helmetception.
And he would be Xenos. Helmetception. And like the WoW people would be like, I don't know what that is, except for the ones that have played 14. And the 14 people would be like, somebody had to send it to me on Twitter because I wasn't watching the trailer when it dropped.
All right. Destroy the
Oh man, it would be epic. I wonder how many players actively do play both at once. Like I assume most don't, but like I wonder how big of a population.
I think it's a big crossover population.
So like I don't mean active like exact same day, right? Like you're clearing dailies for both on Tuesday. That's probably still a fairly small number. But like within an expansion cycle, how many use like the downtime of one game to just go like dabble in the other game? Even if they consider one their primary, how many do you think at least like are aware of what's going on in the other game? Where are you?
I thought you were.
I have left you behind.
Yeah, you seem to jump wherever we were supposed to go. So I'm just kind of running through all these things.
Yeah, so I open my map and then I run to where the next quest is. I don't know if you have a button for that.
Run to the next quest? Is that like an add-on?
Like I open the map and then like I just run towards the next quest.
Okay.
Oh, you are. Oh, somehow you came in above me. I don't even know how you got up there. You only sub to one at a time.
Okay. Oh yeah, like I don't sub to Netflix and Disney Plus. Oh, I got a bunch of ads on me.
What is going on over here? All right, this is a big pull.
I didn't mean that.
Not have AoE.
There we go. Now we're getting things real. Now we're getting real with it.
I mean, I'm about to break 2,000 DPS.
I'm at 700.
But who's counting? Cool.
All right.
Oh my gosh. So if you wonder if heirloom gear matters, Brian did 706 DPS with the
Level
gear that
17.
the quest has given us. I have gear courtesy of my main that is like account-wide gear, and I did 2.2k.
Boy.
I figure I'll buy him an heirloom set around like level 30 or so once he's kind of gotten a feel for the pacing of the game. I don't want to just ruin the pacing and be like, man, that game's really easy. I'm not gonna get hit by that fire, but I'm gonna touch that. Oh. Oh, now he's talking from the next one.
It too will be crushed beneath the wheel. Just let me. Just let me finish. Shadows twist the strings of fate, bending the empire to its will.
I'm gonna click it. Oh, knock me down.
No, you're not.
There we go.
There's a daily quest here.
The doom of an empire and a threat against the king. Now That is a properly dramatic prophecy. My. What is this?
Yeah. That's what I'm using Azure. So it's pretty cool. Hey, Dinderfool, thanks for the follow. And he says, I jump between games regularly, most when I am using big content updates. So there's a few things I have to use the mouse for, but like if I can put in some feedback, I think that's going to be sweet. Level 12 to 20. I don't know what to pick, and I guess it doesn't matter. I'll say this
one. He can't get some heirlooms. That's fine, because the heirlooms are no longer spec specific. They all work for all the specs. So I can at least get him... I can get him 4-piece with just money. He won't have his pick of appearance, but like they're now all cosmetic. A leather chest is a leather chest, regardless. There's not healing ones and tanking ones. Leather is leather.
I'm going to attack these guys.
Okay. I really enjoyed the BFA leveling experience. All the way through. I did not do them in this order, but like I was gonna kind of give Brian the down low on like to pick an order, and then we came in and it was like, you're going to Zuldazar. It's like, okay. Never mind. So with the BFA new player Chromie Light version, you're not getting a choice on what order to play these in. I don't know if they just felt that it was a little more fragmented than they intended. But I did Vol'dun first, and Vol'dun ended up being my favorite.
And Kova Mac, thanks for the follow. I don't know what I should be killing, but usually sometimes.
Is everything tradable? No. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to put him on a mount and take him to a vendor and then hand him a bunch of money.
So money's tradable.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as he plays on my server, money's tradable.
Let's see here.
So, like, we have found to date 105 gold. The gear that we would be buying is 700 gold each. And then the weapons are more. And then that'll get us to a certain level, and then he'll have to pay for upgrades, and then you buy an upgrade item for every single slot, and those are thousands of gold. And then when we get another level range, we'll have to buy another round of upgrades. And so for each level band, you'll have to upgrade them, or they'll stop leveling with you. They'll just cap out, so you have to pay to keep extending their cap.
We're not for these guys?
So, it's just money.
These guys are just sacrifices, so I guess we need to... Yeah, let's go. Can we want to kill this Berserker?
Drustar was my favorite alliance. Yeah, let's do it. We can... What is he? I don't know. I think you can use this item near here and free these guys. I don't know if they'll help us.
Mind slaves.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he suddenly is on our side.
Cool.
Oh, he's gonna go kill this thing. Let's go turn this one. Oh, wait. What's he gonna do with that column? Oh no, he's killing some little dude. Oh man.
Should
Cool.
we use the thing?
Yeah, that was great. Wait for time walking. Yeah, except that, like, yes, I could take him through time walking, but like, what's it gonna cost me to get him a full set of heirlooms? Like 10,000 gold, 20,000 gold. Like to him, that's gonna be a preposterously large amount of money at the time, but like, I'm not a wealthy player in the WoW community. There's literally billionaires. But I am very wealthy to a new player. So I have just under 1 million liquid
Well, I guess
right
that's
now.
not bad.
You will not live long enough to see Zuldazar fall.
Do we have war mode on? No.
So what's a war mode?
World PvP.
Okay.
mostly just because I didn't remember to. Not for any
Is
real
there any
reason.
benefit to having it on?
Yeah, bonus experience.
Just that's it?
Faster reputation gains, I think. And that if we come across an alliance person, you can attack them.
So why don't we just turn it on since there's no alliances out here?
Because they don't want you turning it on and off. You have to turn it on and off in town.
Okay.
So we have to go back to a capital city to turn it. You have to go back to Orgrimmar to turn it on. And I think anywhere with rest you can turn it off. It's fairly easy to turn off, but to opt in, you can't just like see somebody and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna wreck them." No. You gotta go back to the capital and turn it on. Yeah, so MMOs suffer from rampant inflation. So, like, inflation in the United States over the last 100 years has averaged to 3.2%, give or take.
Go this way. Kill this guy.
World of Warcraft, I want to say last time I looked at Undermine Journal, like, has like an average inflation of like 4% monthly. So, like, if this were a global country, like, they would have collapsed long ago. Like, you can't have an economy like this. And it doesn't do it every month 4%. It has these big rampant spikes. So, like, we're about to go into the next expansion, and we're going to go from getting like 40 or 50 gold per world quest completed to, I want to say, like, the people in the PTR said they're getting like 260 right now. And so all at once. And they do that so that people with a big pile of gold don't leave everybody else behind. But like, there's more gold being introduced to the game than use for gold, which by its very nature is inflation. And it's not, that's not unique to WoW. Like, Final Fantasy has the exact same issue. In real world, we have civic bodies, right? We have groups of civil servants whose job it is to keep you from waking up and your life savings not being worth anything. In video games, we not only don't have a body like that, we ask the developers, the gods of this world, who are not economists, we ask them, wouldn't it be cool if I had 10,000 gold? And they're like, well, I'll give you 10,000 gold. The problem is then they give everybody 10,000 gold. And so then then everything just costs 10,000 gold. So, but yes.
I have foreseen what you will say, so please.
That's not meant to be a jab at any political party. That wasn't meant to be a political statement. That's just how inflation works. Is that you have money being introduced into the system. A little bit of inflation is good because otherwise stagnant things can feel stagnant. So a little bit of inflation is healthy. So 3.2% sums up like everything from the Great Depression to like really good years in the United States. So like that's not it. Inflation is not a political issue. Inflation is just a reality. Is gold worth more than gil? As far as how much you can do with it, yes. So I can actually pay my subscription with it. I could buy anything off the cosmetic shop with it. I could buy other games with it. I could buy a copy of Diablo with it. I could buy a copy of the next Call of Duty with it. I could pay for multiple subscriptions so that I could have multiple accounts, which has some advantages. There's way more interesting like mounts and stuff. Like let me check my inventory. How's your inventory doing?
Inventory, I think I've got 15 spots open. So.
Okay, so like when his inventory fills, I can pull out a mount that has a vendor on it. That's just a money sink. So like there's more things to spend money on. 14, the big thing is like glamour and housing. And we talked about this in our video yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Over on Work to Game.
Yeah.
And like the problem with housing is that it's limited. So like if you want to go see like our view on kind of the what is Gil good for, we just put a video out on it. But like simply put, yes, WoW is better at creating uses for it, and it is still not perfect by any means, by any stretch. There are still people that have 5 billion gold and no use for it because there is still a threshold. But in 14, I feel like there's like a static amount of gold that like if you had it relative to the current market. So right now, if you had 100 million gil, you could probably buy everything you wanted and just have money left over. If I just handed you 100 million gil. But in WoW, it's more of a moving target. it's possible to outpace it, in which case there is no use for it. But like it's at least a moving target because you could at least like be paying your subscription and things like that.
It is time to face your fate. We both know I will not die by your hand. You cannot stop me. You are right. I will not. But my
Is
you are not ahead of me, old man.
gold just like gil? Yes. I would say that 1 gold is probably roughly equivalent to 10 gil. Not perfectly, but yes. You get it when you get it from monsters. It just drops. Quests give it to you. You spend it on repairs. It comes and goes in all of the same ways. The auction house takes a cut. Yeah. It's identical. It's just a currency. It's just a different name.
Strong, but my sight is stronger.
The auction houses do work different. There's no limit to the number of auctions you can have here, and then you pay a listing fee. As opposed to in 14, they take a cut if it sells, but you can list for free, but you're capped at 20 items per per retainer. And then if you want to pay for more retainers, you can pay real life money. So they don't allow you to pay your subscription with fake money. They allow you to pay your subscription with other people's money. So the way a token works is, and it works in any game that has a token. WoW is not the only one. Any game that I know of that does a token like this, so like EVE Online, for example, you basically all it does is facilitate a trade. So Brian said that he doesn't believe that you know it's as responsible to have a Netflix and Disney. I don't know if he really meant that, but he said like I don't want Netflix and Disney at the same time. But imagine if he did. Imagine if he's like it'd be really cool to have Disney Plus and Netflix at the same time. But I can't do that because I'm busy paying for my MMO, and like I just feel like I don't want to pay. I definitely don't want to pay for all 3. Well, Brian has a whole bunch of gil that he's not using.
Right.
And then I have crafters that are not leveled. And so like I could use the gil. And, you know, so what if I just start paying Brian sub every month? I just drive to his house and I just hand him $15. And then next time we play together, he just hands me a chunk of gil that we agree on. Now, that's RMT, and that's against the rules. But that sort of trade, it's very logical to see how that happens, right? It's very
and it does happen.
And it does happen. Now, what WoW realized is that's happening, but like not everybody knows the person that they want to trade with, so they end up with RMT. So they end up with all these complaints like, "Oh my gosh, my account got hacked. Save me, Blizzard." Meanwhile, that company is not just charging $15; they're charging $20, and they're pocketing the other $5. And WoW's like, they're making money and they're making our players' lives worse. Why don't we make the money and not make our players' lives worse? So what they do is they just facilitate that trade. So the WoW token goes up and down in price. And basically, when there's people that want a token and there's not a lot of people that are turning gold over, then the amount of gold you get per token goes down. And when a lot of people want to buy a token with gold because they've got extra gold and there's not a bunch of players that want gold, then that just goes the other way. And so it's in flux. It's set per region. So North America has a token price and EU has a token price. And you literally just go to the market board and it just tells you what the price is. And I can just pay the current like 150,000 gold, and then it will give me a token. And then if I right click that token, it will apply that to my balance. And I will now have 1 month's subscription in my balance. To the right. So we gotta go north.
Am I not? Oh, north.
Oh, I was gonna go up to Nessingwars because we're already up here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and then we
I'm
can always
following you.
then we'll have the flight path. So that's how it works. So they're not inventing money. All of the gold that is being sold to players in trade for $20 is gold that was farmed up by real players, and all of the people who are paying their subscription with gold, World of Warcraft actually isn't getting $15 a month for that subscription. It's getting $20.
Dino
So they're actually
fight.
premium.
Dino fight. The
Do you want to do this bonus event?
what's the bonus event?
It's like a fate.
Okay, I don't
It's called
see it.
Trouble
On,
the Root Way.
I don't see it on my map.
Oh, maybe that's just because I've already cleared this stuff. Really?
Yeah, that's.
You don't have a pair of swords up here?
Oh, there's a pair of swords. I say pair of swords, like on the big map.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know
Yeah, that's
that.
it. Okay, Trouble in the Root Way. Yes.
All right, then after this, I will have to go get work done. So that is my
All right.
plan.
So we'll do this, and then we'll go pick up the flight path, and we can get you back to rested experience. Well, I said we could get up there.
Route
How does a player gain a token in the first place? So yeah, so in the auction house in game, you trade gold for a token, and then if you purchase the gold, then you just purchase that in the shop. They just handle all the interaction. It's very, very convenient, and it's totally like you never see the person that bought your token, and you never see the person that provided your gold. It's totally anonymous, and it's just happening in real time. You don't have to wait on somebody. It just knows. Like right now, we've got too many people going this direction, so we'll adjust the price. So it's a little bit in flux. So they probably have a certain amount of kind of just fluff that they kind of have, a certain amount of kind of slush in the coffer.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if I want to buy a token, I could buy one right now. I could buy 10 tokens right now, and it'll just handle it.
And that'd be 10 months of your sub.
Correct. And so people that multi-box and play, 16 accounts, they buy 16 tokens a month, because most multi-boxers don't spend real money. They spend gold. And then that's just someone else's real money. And WoW loves those, because like I said, those are $20 a month subs. And if they were to have, like, if they have a discounted price for like 6 months, they're getting 20. They're getting way more. So, it'd be like somebody offering to pay full price for your sub, even though you're a legacy player.
Oh, Filthy says there's a limit to the amount of tokens that you can purchase per month.
Oh, cool. I've never run into it. In a given time, probably to stop them from crashing that market. That's interesting. That makes sense.
Right, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I bought it all.
But, yeah. I assume if I wanted to buy 10, I could buy 10 over some period of time then.
Well, because it's interesting, because you can think about it, like if all of a sudden you drive up demand, you buy it all cheap, and then you are like, oh, you can't, after you buy a token, you can't resell it, right?
I don't know. I think it turns into Blizzard balance, and so you could, but I think you're getting screwed. I want to say you're like turning $20 into $15, so like it would have to have pretty rampant. But I think there was people that were kind of playing that market, but it has to be pretty volatile for you to come out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give it away. No, you can resell it. So like I could buy them and sit on them in game, and then kind of give them back. So like you can play it like a Bitcoin type thing.
Okay. I was like, because my thought was like, if you bought it all low and then it went up, and then you were like, all right, now I'm selling it and I'm profiting.
So I don't know. I feel like there's people that were playing that market. I don't understand it. I don't have the level. Having 1 million gold is enough that like I can afford to buy a token for me. I can't afford to be involved in anything that costs 150 per attempt. So like I don't really know is the honest answer. The token you buy for gold is different than the one you buy for cash. Interesting.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I think it goes to Blizzard balance. So I think it'd be like,
I think if you buy a token for gold, then it is.
They can only be redeemed for game time if you bought it with cash. Okay. Interesting. So we're at 78% of the fate.
Cool. A little less fanfare.
Yeah.
I'm just coming off of Boja. I'm just been like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. This is much closer to just an old school fate. Like you're just out here doing this. There's just too much wildlife here, and so the game said, "Hey, would you like to call it?" They can give different rewards. They can give gear. They can give gold. They can they can give different. They can even give like recipes. So like world events can do different things. I'll lift that one up. All right. Cool. And it just completes automatically.
Nice.
Auto completes. Just handles it.
All right. So where do we need to go so I can set an end point? Because
right here.
I need to
just up the hill.
Okay, cool.
Just up the hill. I think we even get rested if we sit in this little hut. If not, we'll use our Hearthstones and be done.
This is the flight path? Flight master.
Yep. But since you're logging out, we can just use our Hearthstone because we have, and then that way you're getting rested experience.
Excellent.
We can always come back here and turn in this quest. But the important thing was we had the flight path because now we don't have to walk here.
Cool. Genius.
Can I link the official YouTube link for the WoW token? Sure.
Totally.
Which channel is WoW stuff likely to be on and off? It'll be on our
Both,
personal
actually.
channels.
So we'll have a kind of
we'll
a
start
discussion.
linking them, but like work to game will probably stay relatively 14 focused because that's kind of the audience that we built, and we want to kind of respect why people hit the subscribe button. But we've started spinning up other channels, and so that'll have a fresh community so that we're not catching anybody off guard. Like, I came here to be a member of your 14 stuff, and then you just suddenly shifted.
Right. We'll have a discussion topic on WoW. What? Whoa! 50 emotes also shared, and it's just going nuts, dude. The Filthy,
I don't know
thanks
what
so
just
much
happened.
for 10 gifted subs from Filthy Meme to the community, guys. Welcome. Unfortunately, my avatars aren't working right now, so otherwise you would see them. Thank you, Filthy, for that generous 10.
So you guys will have to
gifted
come
subs.
back
You have to
sometime
come back
next month.
I'll be live again on Saturday. Kind of my schedule right now is Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm also going to be working on some 14 controller guides now that I've got all the jobs leveled. So just kind of keep that locked. You'll find those on Ginger Prime. So if you guys aren't subbed to Ginger Prime, go subscribe to that, check it out, and I'll have the WoW controller guide up there today for Ginger Prime as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And then we'll have a discussion, probably a handful, like maybe once I get like to 25 and have a little bit more just like how's the new player experience, and then one when I get cap. So I'll be probably doing Saturday's a little bit longer stream. So we'll probably it depends on what time you want to get up, because I get up really early. So I might start with 14, start working on some of the higher stuff, and then we'll transition into more WoW, because I'm at level 18, almost 18 and a half. So gonna get this rested experience.
I got work to do because
You just found a gold farm.
So I'm trying to keep my other characters up with you.
Yeah.
So I have 5 other characters that are not at 50. One's at 48, so we're obviously not in danger of catching him. One's up in the 20s, so we're not in danger of catching him yet. And then I have a couple of other ones. So I'm gonna try to see if I can keep 5 at pace with us, so that I can just jump, because I have 3 at cap right now, and I'd love to just spike, or 4 plus us, so 8 total. Yeah, and then I have a channel called Gaming Kinda. And so I've been posting some opinions, so that's just straight up just my thoughts. But I'll have some guide channels, and then as those start to get content on them, I'll start sending you guys that way.
Yeah.
But the best way to find all that stuff is honestly, if you just go to the Work to Game recent playlist,
you'll see
we put everything in that playlist, because that's a way that we can have that content where people can find it, and it doesn't shove it into a subscriber's face that didn't maybe want that.
Exactly.
So we're trying to respect people that hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it, and we want to respect your time. But we also have it there if you want to find it.
Thank you all for being here. We really can't thank you enough. Thanks, Filthy, for those 10 gifted subs. Thanks, Kaz. I think he cheered 260 bits. You guys, your support is just so humbling. And honestly, from my wife to you guys, she says thank you guys so much. It allows me to get talking about video games out of my system, so we can talk about kids and other other things. And I feel like I get that outlet. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, Chris. For
heading over. Yeah, we're heading over to Sharkin. I know we're
Yep.
coming up on time. We're heading over to Sharkin. He is a WoW gold maker. So if you kind of want to see what the difference is, like when you have add-ons and stuff, how the community can kind of center on that, he does that. Tell him Work to Game said hello. So thank you guys so much.
All right, I'm gonna hit raid. Love you guys.
All
See
right.
you on Saturday.